As a warning, I would like to say, do not open your Protector's Bounties while within a guild. Make sure you go and leave first. In this video, I'll explain why, and I'll demonstrate to you the drop rates between being in a guild and between not being in a guild. It has changed a little bit with regards to this year now dropping an awful lot more insignias. If we check to the previous year, we found the drop rates, the weights, and basically went and compared versus not a guild and within a guild. And ultimately, it was over 19% chance that you would obtain a guild-related item. And you might not want any of those items instead of any of the other items, which meant you absolutely saw a reduction to the drop rate of Coal Motes. And last year, Legendary Insignias basically didn't drop at all. So that already is a big warning. You're basically looking at nearly a 20% reduction in the chance to get what you want. And I think most of you want Legendary Insignias, want Coal Motes, want even Epic Insignias for powder. Blue ones, green ones too are great. It all adds up to tons of powder. We were getting like 20,000 powder in just 6,000 opened with all of these insignias plus 11 Coal Motes. So now let's see what happens to all of these drop rates when we go and actually stay in a guild and then open them. Because there are a bunch of items that are actually added to the loot table. So let's begin opening and show you. Already we got celebratory feasts. And these will absolutely clutter your inventory because they don't stack and you probably won't sell them for anything. It's just a bit of guild hall decoration. Maybe if you save them up until like the beginning of next year, you might get a few astral diamonds from them. But yeah, not much. And most people will just delete them because the amount of inventory they take up is just so annoying. You can see we've already got a whole bunch of feasts. Keep in mind, every feast you get, that drop could have been a legendary insignia. It could have been a Coal Mote. But no, you're getting these useless feasts instead. On top of that, you're already seeing we're getting a lot of these vouchers for your guild. Some people may claim, oh, but you need them to get my guild upgraded. Well, to be frank with you guys, I don't really think you should prioritize upgrading a guild over upgrading your character. Anybody who's not maxed out yet, who hasn't got an endgame character, I don't think they should worry about trying to get a guild upgraded. Focus first on maxing out your character. So if you need Coal Motes, you need insignias, absolutely do not be in a guild when you open these. These vouchers, you will not nearly get enough value from them to be worth it at all. You'll also be getting these like ebony chairs. They'll also clutter your inventory space and they're just a bit of guild hall decorations. Sure, over time they might build up a little bit of value, but still I do not think they are worth at all compared to sacrificing your drop rate chance of getting some extra Coal Motes, some extra insignias. I'll just sort our inventory a little bit here and you can already see the amount of these useless feasts, 2 chairs and a whole bunch of vouchers here, which yeah, most of them are also going to be pretty useless. On PC, each feast is already less than a measly 100 astral diamonds. Yeah, just 100. We have, yeah, about 500 of these packs already opened. We have 6,000 to get through. So I'll give you some updates, but yeah, I'm just going to speed open these. So after 1,000 opened, you can see what drops we're looking at. This is how many feasts, vouchers, chairs. Definitely hurting my drop rates on Coal Motes and insignias. Here we are at 2,000 opened. You can see the different drops there. All those feasts and chairs too, along with all the vouchers. And let's continue on. We're at the halfway point now, 3,000. You can see these are all the drops, including insignias, vouchers, and yeah, all these feasts and chairs just cluttering up space. We're at the 4,000 mark now. You can see all these drops, insignias, 7 Coal Motes, and that's a lot of feasts and chairs, to be sure. We're at the 5,000 mark now, and we are starting to struggle to fit all those chairs and feasts in an orderly manner. But let's get the remaining 1,000 opened and we'll see where we're at then. And there we are, all 6,116 opened. Bit of a mess, let's sort it a bit. And there we have it sorted. We got 10 coal motes, which is one less than we usually get at 11. Again, this was my initial drop rate table, and then this was our June the 20th drop table. So pretty much the same on those. Neither of them was within a guild. So let's go and fix up the table to now be within a guild and see what we're actually missing out on. After that, we'll convert all the insignias to powder and see how much we're losing. Because again, without being in a guild, we're getting like 20,000. So I'll take some time, add everything up. Ultimately, you can see with this test, it was over 20% drop chance was consumed with just these guild items. Sure, some of these, say, epic vouchers, you might get some value from them, but it's not like you can get them directly. You'd have to go to some guild leader, ask them for payment, and it gets messy. But otherwise, it's just, yeah, your own donation to the guild. Yeah, you'll get a bit of like guild marks with that, but then again, it's also not that easy to get direct value from guild marks either. You got to do the whole grinding with the maps and all that. Ultimately, with this data, I highly recommend you avoid being in a guild whatsoever to open these. You can see across the board, everything just becomes like lower drop rates because you're adding in all of these items. And every time you open a Protector's Bounty, you can only get 2 rewards. One is anything you see here in the inventory, and the other reward is the Renown. These were the drop rates we were getting without being in a guild. Again, you don't have all those extra guild items. Coal Motes is at like 0.18 or 1 in 556. Legendary Insignias 1 in 125. And then when we throw in the guild items, we end up Legendary Insignias are 1 in 150 now. Coal Motes are 1 in 612. So yeah, a pretty big difference that I would highly recommend you just do not be in a guild when you open these. Even looking at epic insignias, 1 in 64, and while you're in a guild, it becomes 1 in 83. Again, these drop rates are rounded. These ones, the percentage ones are a bit more accurate, but people find it a bit easier to understand these ones that are like 1 in this many boxes to open, and you have, that's the general chance to get it. But ultimately, how much, say, insignia powder did we lose then? If we go and say convert it to insignia powder, everything here, including these legendary insignias, we currently have 0 powder. We'll click convert all on that. There we go. And we end up with 16,800 insignia powder. Yep, we lost over 3,000 insignia powder versus our other test when we were not within a guild. So you basically lost the value of a whole mythic insignia. Do you really want to do that? Is that worth it to you? For me, it's totally not. And I would recommend it's not worth it to you either. So very simply, do not be in a guild when you open your Protector's Bounties. I'm sure whatever guild leaders or officers will have no problem with just inviting you back afterwards. You can let them know, I'm going to open my bounties, and then they can invite you back when you're done, 30 minutes later or so. You'll get some people who are very guild devoted who will argue that you should be contributing to the guild you're in and helping it develop. My argument is, the game's been here for 11 years. There are hundreds of guilds already at maximum level 20. You can just go freely join any of them. It's not like they'll charge you anything to join. Plenty of ones are just there, just want somebody who's going to play the game, and they'll invite you for free. You'll get your guild boons and done, sorted. You don't need to have these vouchers and things to donate to the guilds. But yeah, still, guild leaders will probably hate me for saying that, especially the ones who are still upgrading a guild. And quite frankly, I think it's a little bit ludicrous to be upgrading a guild at this stage in the game when there are already so many maxed out guilds. It's not something I would recommend you rush, not something I recommend you prioritize either. Take your time, and I would say don't expect newer players who are still developing their characters to contribute to your guild when there are so many others already maxed out. So that should prove to you to not open your bounties while within the guild. You're just hurting the drop rates of everything else. You'll be getting less insignias, less coal motes, and those are the main value items from here. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for watching. A massive thank you to all of these channel members, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.